Hey everyone, welcome to the Let's Talk Guild Wars 2, Episode 5. And today, the episode is all on raids. I'd like to put a little disclaimer here saying that I'm going to talk a lot about raids, and in the background, the video clips will be all the raid stuff that I experienced on Tuesday. So if you don't want to see any of that, if you don't want to hear anything about the raids, if you want to keep it a surprise for yourself, I say don't watch the video. But if you're interested about my opinions or interested about what's coming, what you might feel about raids, and if you're not sure you want to do them, then go ahead and listen in. So first of all, I want to talk a little bit about the background of instance content Guild Wars 2 before we even go into raids for a second. This has probably been reiterated many times, but I like to do it myself. So from the start of launch from Guild Wars 2, we've had dungeons. There's been there's about 7 dungeons, 8 dungeons, 7 dungeons, and with multiple different paths to them. And so those were instance content for a long time until Fractals came out very much later, which gave another look at a way to do dungeons. Kind of in its way of kind of mixing the, kind of changing it up a little bit, trying to do something different. And dungeons kind of still stood around. Fractals and dungeons were something you do together. You do dungeons, you go to Fractals, and it'd be a nice, good way to gain gold, and they were kind of fun. After a while, obviously, the first day that you go into the dungeons, they'd be super hard because you have no idea what you're doing and you don't really know what to do. After time moved on, dungeons became very easy to do. They became very much a habit, or you knew exactly what to do at certain points. It kind of just became trivial and just kind of moved through like it was natural. And they were still fun, don't get me wrong, because most of us who do like to do instance content, especially the people who really like instance content, they're instanced players, they're really much into playing instance content, not open world content. This was something that they would do all the time. And that went on. Finally, after 3 years or so, it's still, even though we still did the dungeons and they were still fun to us, we were yearning for something more, something different. And Fractals weren't really bringing that to us because there wasn't much Fractal release going on, especially I guess mostly because of the expansion release and announcements and stuff like that. But finally, we got to raids and we got the changes to Fractals and stuff like that. Even though Fractals right now are kind of in a bad spot and dungeons are in a bad spot because of the liquid gold rewards being reduced, but still we have all that instant content. But now we finally have something brand new, is the raids. The raid wings, because we're separated into wings, is fantastic. I have to say, if I had to give it a grade between A being excellent and F being absolutely awful, I'd give it pretty much an A. Give it an A- for maybe little things, but definitely an A to it. There was so many good things about this, and it's quite interesting to think that after so much time we've been doing these dungeons over and over and over and over again, having finally something brand new, something new to learn in the game. I've spent my entire time in the game pretty much knowing everything about it. I know how I play my characters, the classes that I play. I know how most of the mobs in the game function, how they react, and how they work mechanically in the open world and stuff like that. And in the dungeons, I know exactly how every single thing in those dungeons works, and in Fractals is the same. It was very much an awesome feeling to go into something and finally say, wow, I have no idea what's going on here. I absolutely have no idea what this boss or what these mobs do. I have no idea what the mechanics are. I have no idea what a win condition, the victory condition is. I don't know what the failure condition is. I know nothing about this. And it was an awesome feeling to go into it and finally say, wow, I have to learn shit. I have to learn stuff. Now, if you don't know anything about the raids, I'm going to tell you a little bit about them. So the raids are separated into wings. And this particular raid, the Spirit Veil, is separated into 4 wings, each with a number of encounters. The first wing we have has 4 encounters that we'll be able to experience. And the first encounter is this kind of, again, if you don't want to hear anything about this, you want to learn anything about it, that's fine. I'm going to talk about the raid a little bit. I'm not going to go into the mechanics very deeply, but we're going to talk about it a little bit. You have this spirit guardian, and if you play in the beta, you know what he's like and what he does. But there's certain mechanics that he does that your group, and this is 10-man raids, your group has to do together. And it's really interesting to see how your group will react and how you all will learn at the same time what to do. It was fantastic. yeah, it's sometimes a little bit, not, it wasn't exactly frustrating, but it was like, man, we finally died. We died, and we know why we died. We know why we all just like completely got obliterated. We know what happened and what we need to do next time to get to a certain point where we are at a comfortable position. And once we got past a certain point, we got to a new part of it. So a new part of the encounter, and it was just, and you know, dying and dying over and over and over again. It was great. It was awesome. It was an awesome feeling. And the mechanics, while not super complicated, at least on the first boss. I mean, the first boss you expect to be kind of like the easy to understand boss. And remember, the way that it's supposed to work is that you have all these different bosses, and then when you get to the final boss, it's kind of like a combination in a sort of way of all the different bosses. So this is what I remember that Arenanet saying, but hopefully, you know, maybe they've changed some stuff up. Who knows? But again, we haven't gotten that far in the raid. We just only went up to the first boss. We haven't even beat it yet, but it's fantastic. I can't even express how awesome it feels when you go and when you die and you're like, wow, okay, we died. Why did we die? It's like trying to figure out a puzzle. And that's what the raids are. These puzzles you have to figure out. And yeah, once we get to the point where we understand it, it'll be a little bit easier for us. And I expect after months and months and months until the next raid comes out, we'll finally we'll understand how this raid works. But man, it was a great feeling. I have to say that the only thing I have to criticize a little bit is the fact that it's actually, you know what? I have no criticism. I have no criticism whatsoever. I have none. I can't even think of a criticism right now because I haven't gotten too far in the raid at all. Really, I have no real stance on it in any sort to try to criticize the raid at this point because so far it's been amazing. Now, the really cool part of this whole thing is that based on what is going on in the raid, we took some time to figure out what our different classes we're supposed to do and what kind of little tricks we can employ to kind of help our way through. For example, in the first boss encounter, there's a circle you're supposed to stand on. The circle, if you have enough people in the circle, it doesn't kill everyone, basically. The circle, however, damages those in the circle quite a significant amount. And I was trying to figure out a way to solve this problem. We were trying to figure out a way to solve this problem because people kept dying from random, from the circle damage. And I was thinking, man, I wonder if, and I was playing Revenant, I wonder if Chalice on the Revenant would help a significant amount because the Elite reduces damage by 50%. And so I tried it, and what do you know? We were taking a lot less damage, we were able to heal through the damage, and it was amazing. All the other players, all the other group members, all the guild members, they were trying to figure out, okay, what can I do on this class to kind of help out the group and help myself do damage? How am I supposed to do more damage? How can I help myself to make everyone do more damage? In fact, we swapped around different people to kind of kite the boss around. It was really cool. It was really interesting, a group exercise, really. It was really a group effort to try to figure out what we were supposed to do, and it felt really good. I'm pretty sure that this is exactly what Arenanet had planned on when it came to raids. In fact, I think raids are probably one of the most worked on pieces of this entire expansion, to be honest. And it's understandable. This is a big piece of the puzzle to Guild Wars 2, and it needs to be almost absolutely perfect. So, far from knowing what else is in front of us, I don't know if it is perfect yet, but so far has met all of my expectations and the expectations of many of the people that I know. I know that some people aren't totally excited about the fact that the boss will go after the person with the highest toughness, but and they will stick with that person. That's kind of how you designate a kind of quote-unquote tank. I'm okay with this. It makes it a lot easier to focus on what you need to do in the encounter instead of kind of randomly being attacked by the boss and getting downed instantly, especially if you're someone as squishy as maybe an elementalist running some Zerker stats or something like that. Even it does the damage of everything does enough damage to significantly impact you if you're not mitigating it with things like blocking and Aegis, which is blocking, and invulns and other things like that. It really, the idea around the toughness thing is actually quite it makes sense. It makes sense in the scheme of things, and I'd rather have it this way. There might be a better way to do it, but so far hasn't been discovered yet. So maybe one day that will be discovered and be implemented later on. But who knows? So far, this has been really great. I know it sounds like I'm just sitting here rambling on about how raids are awesome and great and this wonderful thing, but it's a lot more than that. It's me sitting here and telling you that this is a great thing. It's everything that I thought it would be. And maybe if it's not for you, that's okay. But I sincerely give it a try. If you're a new player now, the biggest worry here for many players is the fact that, you know, is it too hard? Is it too easy? I'd say it's right in the middle there. I'd say it has a difficulty level, but the difficulty doesn't come from the fact that you're gonna get one shot or anything like that. Yeah, there is some things in there that will kill you pretty quickly and do a lot of damage, but the main things is understanding how the fights work. And that's the main thing. That's how many of the guilds who have already gotten the first, gotten them already, who already beaten the raid already. They understand how the mechanics work. They've sat down and learned them. If you're having trouble, just try to. You have to sit there and analyze. Okay, why are we dying? What is going on here? What is going on here? Are we doing enough damage? Are we doing this thing? Are enough people going here? You have to think about all these things as you're going along and talk to your group players. You can't pug this. I will have to say, you can't pug this. This is not something you could take random people in and do. I will have to say that 100%, unless you all find a way to get on the same TeamSpeak server or get on Skype or whatever. Unless you do that, unless you know the people and especially, I mean, it makes it easier on you if you're playing with the people that you know. You cannot complete this raid with people who are not your friends or you're not talking to. It is just communication is key when it comes to this. And that's fine. I think that is okay. I believe that is okay. There should be no reason that you have to find random people you don't know who they are to play with to complete something. I mean, that was something that was done in dungeons and fractals. Yeah, those are done because many people know how to do those things. And who knows? Maybe in the future, once people really understand the raids, you can pug them because everyone understands what to do. However, there's a level of coordination that needs to happen between players, and it's really something difficult to do when you're not talking, when you're typing and not talking, with voice chat or whatever. And that's something important to understand. Maybe it'll never come when the time will never come when you can pug this, and that's fine. I think that it is appropriate for the type of game that Arenanet wants to make, a game where you play with your friends, where you grow a community and you start to play with people and get to know them. That's the kind of community they're trying to grow, and that's what raids kind of advertise. That's what they want to do with these, and I think it's a great thing. I think, the one awful thing about gaming nowadays is the fact that there's still a big, huge disconnect. Actually, it's even worse now because many people just want to go in and get things done. Maybe people just want to go in, get the rewards, and done. It's not about the experience, it's about the end result. And, this is something coming from... I used to play, I'm not a super old-fashioned gamer. I'm 23 years old, if you want to know my age. I played all the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, N64, GameCube. I played all those games. I didn't go super far back, but I did try out all those things, and it was really fun to go through those experiences and learn, kind of like, oh, I learned how to do this, there's these mechanics, and then when you get to the end, it feels amazing. Nowadays, it's just like, people just want to get to the end. People just want to get right to the end result, and they feel happy for some reason. To me, that feels like a hollow ending. A hollow victory in itself. I think that the more that, and this is something I applaud Arenanet for trying to do, and I know they're trying to do it. Maybe they might not do it 100% all the time, but, and some ways people might not agree with, but overall, I believe that they're trying to promote ways for players to enjoy the journey that they have with other people. And you know what? I prefer it that way. I don't, this goes to a much deeper understanding of myself, where my thinking about the world in general. I think that it's much more enjoyable to connect with people, through, friendships and communities, and get to know people and go through these journeys. You go through life really, really quickly. You get to the point where you understand, man, life moves so fast. Why don't we just sit and enjoy where we're going instead of, going through it? And going through college is something that is very, one of those things. And that I relate a lot of that to gaming, because gaming is a big part of my life, and I want to experience gaming the same way I want to experience my life, and that is enjoying I hate to say enjoying the journey because that's very cliche, but enjoying the enjoying the path that I take and enjoying the things that I see and experience on the way to my goal. And the goal being whatever it is, and when I get there, it's amazing. And I can look back and say, I did all these things, and I saw all this stuff, and I experienced all these things, and these things happened, and I talked to these people, and I enjoyed these people, and I loved it. It was great. And that's what raids feel like to me. That's what raids feel like to me. And then I feel like I understand a lot of my guildies a lot more after spending time with them in this raid. Like, I really do. I really do feel like I understand them a lot better. Understanding how they play and understand how they think about things. And that's exciting to me. And it's really enjoyable. And, you know, if we never make it to the end because we're really bad, that's fine with me. But I'm sure we will because we're not bad. And on that note, I have to say, this is the end of the video. I'm sorry it's a little bit shorter than normal. Maybe it's a bit longer than normal. I don't know. But a little bit of extra things. I will not be making as many videos between now and Christmas because two things are happening. First of all, finals are coming up. College is one of those things that gets in the way of me doing these videos, which I really enjoy, and I'm sorry if you guys are frustrated with me or anything like that. I understand if you are, but I'd like you to understand that I do have other things I need to attend to in my life, like finals. Finals are just around the corner. If many of you probably understand my woes here. Streaming, I am trying my very best to keep the schedule on task. I enjoyed streaming the last weekend because I had as more people than I've ever had in the stream before. I am going to keep doing the videos for the stream. Streaming now, I might change the title of it, but I'll put up those videos whenever I'm streaming. Make sure to come by and see me and hang out. I'll be doing streaming on Friday and Saturday and Sunday. I'll try to do 3 of those days, but I can't guarantee it. Sunday is a definite yes, and Saturday is probably a definite yes. Friday, I'm not too sure about. I will try. But again, that's the schedule going on right now. I am going to put out a Revenant PvP video guide this week, maybe this weekend. And yeah, that's how it's going. So thank you so much for watching the video. If you had any any comments, any feedback from me about talking about raids and other things like that, please do put them down in the comments. If you have any disagreements, that's okay too. Just make sure that they are constructive and we can have a conversation about that. And if you want to talk with me anywhere else, I have a Twitter, and I also have, you can hit me up in game. And don't forget to follow Twitch because, shameless advertisement. So, again, thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you guys next time.